Coached by Hall of Famer Charlie Huggins and assisted by Jim Bileski, the 1967 Class A state champion Strasburg basketball team finished the season with a perfect 27-0 record. The Tigers began tournament play with sectional wins over Port Washington, Tuscarawas, and Highland before defeating Wayne and Mount Pleasant to claim the district championship. Regional tourney wins over Northwest and Dalton put Strasburg into the state Final Four. A buzzer-beating 55-54 state semifinal win over Southeastern Ross, followed by a 54-47 victory over Arcanum, earned the Tigers the Class A state championship. Not with us tonight are the late Bob Welling. We have Ruth, again, representing the late John Studer, the late Ken Dreher, Butch Haswell, Ed Rusk, Tom Ferris, Gary Phillips, assistant coach Jim Bileski, and Bob Huggins accepting the honor on behalf of the late head coach Charlie Huggins. With us tonight, team manager Les McGrath, team manager Rick Corder, junior Ron Hall, junior Tom Hall, junior Tom Margot, senior Gene Bear, senior Charlie Jones, senior Mike Rieger, senior Ed Yockey, Ruth representing the late John Studer, and Bob representing the late head coach Charlie Huggins. Please welcome into the Tuscarawas County Sports Hall of Fame the 1967 Class A state champion Strasburg basketball team.
Now the fun begins. They're going to give me 2 minutes. I can't even clear my throat in 2 minutes. So let's give this a shot. Ladies and gentlemen, seated before you are the very best teammates and team ever to play basketball in Tuscarawas County. If you don't believe that, ask former Janayton Hutton star Dan Jenks. Dan's sitting back here with all of his friends, as usual. All right, so with that, I want to thank the committee for giving us this very prestigious honor. I'd also like to thank everybody here this evening, and for those teams and individuals, I want to congratulate you also. We, the 1967 team, were blessed with 3 very special assets. The first one, which is familiar to a lot of you, is Coach Charlie Huggins. Wow. I'm going to tell you what, was he tough? And could he chew your ask me again? I'll tell you what, buddy, he'd jump on you, he'd be on you like a porch climber. I think the only one on our entire roster that Coach Huggins didn't get a piece of was John Studer. Okay, everybody else, Charlie was really on him. And John, for some reason, you know, John and Coach Huggins really had a trust between them that was second to none. And speaking of John Studer, the best ever in Ohio high school hoops. He was our go-to guy. He was our franchise. He was to our basketball team as Hank Keithley is to the Times Reporter, our go-to guy. 27 a game and 15 rebounds a game John Studer had in his career at Strasburg. Item number 3, and I'm sure all of you are aware of this, but seated before you are guys that just loved the game of basketball. We ran the streets of Strasburg. We took care of things in the alley. We took care of other things that we're not going to tell you about. All right, but the fellowship and the camaraderie that we shared through 4 years of high school basketball was unbelievable. No jealous, No bickering. All we wanted to do was play basketball and put another W on the board, baby. Now, my team historian, Mike Rigger, seated before you, has given me just a few nuggets to pass along to you. We averaged 80 points a ball game. 80 points sounds like a lot, but believe me, it could have been a lot more than averaging 80 points a ball game. Coach Huggins, very smart like he is, up and down the roster, using everybody, giving everybody playing time on the roster. By halftime, okay, the starting unit was already on the bench and would watch the second half from the bench. That's how talented our roster was, and that's how smart Coach Huggins was. Now think about this. Let's see, where is Smoke Riley? Where is Jim Riley? Let me see your hand. Jim Riley, former athletic director at Claymont High School. Figure this one out. We had an average winning margin of 36 points. An average winning margin of 36 points, guys. Are you kidding me? Do you think I just made that up? I'm not that smart. And you know that, right? And Smoochie sitting down here can tell you that. So we averaged 80 a game. We got no three-point line. And like I say, we only played half the game. Some more nuggets of information for you, and then we're really going to get down in it. We were number one wire-to-wire UPI coaches poll the entire season. 4 of our 5 starters, oh hell, give me the microphone. 4 of our 5 starters would average double figures. Once again, we didn't care, did we, guys? All we wanted to do was win, baby. Here we go. If we got caught with a girlfriend, and Bobby Huggins can tell you this, if we got caught with a girlfriend, Mike Rigger, Bruz, you two violators, if we got caught with a girlfriend, it was 50 laps. Coach Huggins, for some reason, did not believe in females during basketball season. Now, you're going to run 50 laps the first time I catch you, but if Coach Huggins catches you again, it's adios, amigos, baby. So now, help me with this. Now we're going to make a movie. You've heard of Hoosiers, but here we go with the Hoosiers version from the '67 Tiger State Championship team. The first month of the season, they're remodeling our gym up at Strasburg. Now, we didn't have a very big gym, but it just so happened in the winter of 1967, they're going to expand the gym by about 20, 25 feet, okay, and move one end back in to the parking lot. So where are we going to practice? Our senior season, for the first month, we got to drive over hill and dale to beautiful downtown Dundee. How many of you know where Dundee is, huh? It's not, yeah, there you go. You know, we practiced in the Dundee gym for the first month of the season. And look at these big hods. I mean, look how big these guys are. I've got walk-in closets at home bigger than that Dundee gym. That's what a cracker box that Dundee gym was. Our tournament trail looked a little bit like this. Our floor general, our point guard, Mike Rigger, young man seated right here on the end, comes down with mono right after the district tournament. Mike Rigger, the guy that runs our offense, missed both regionals and both tournament games. He's sitting at home listening to us win, while he's laying there in bed. What a big loss, Mike Rigger, during that tournament trail. Thank God we got guys on the roster by the name of Gary Phillips and by the name of Art Haswell, who stepped up to the plate and filled the gap for Mike Rigger in those last 4 tournament games. We're down at Steubenville. We're down at St. John Arena in Steubenville in the district. The big guy here, Big Ed Yockey, our rebounder and our low post player, comes up with a sprained ankle. Now, Big Ed is going to be out of action in the district tournament. So who you going to call to fill Ed's shoes? We're going to get a hold of Bruz Bear here. Bruz stepped in and did a great job in Eddie's absence. Let's go now to the state tournament. Coach Huggins had his own way of doing things, as most of you know. One of the things was he always liked to travel in cars as opposed to a school bus. I, of course, when we left Strasburg High School in cars, can anybody guess where you could find me as we were pulling out of the school? You got it. I'm seated at the right hand of Coach Huggins, firmly on the front seat of his car. So we're going to sleep in our own beds. Bobby, do you remember any of this, or were you still playing with your Lincoln Logs? Huh? Oh, Bobby says, I remember all of it, and I don't like the way he looked at me. You know, those guys from West Virginia are mean and lean, and they are tougher than a $5 steak down there in Morgantown. So with that, Coach Huggins says, no, we're not going to go down to Columbus the night before the state semifinal. I want you guys to sleep in your own beds. Okay, Coach. So we go Betty by. We wake up the next morning, and it's the biggest, baddest, ugliest blizzard of the winter of 1967. I mean, there were snow drifts 3 feet high most of the way down to Columbus. So we begin our journey now. It's ice cold, it's blowing everywhere. It's like driving in the Antarctic. It is so bad. And we are headed to play the state semifinal. Are you kidding me? I'm not making this stuff up. We started out that morning for St. John, not knowing for sure if we were going to get there. We were in cars, of course, as I told you. How long did it take us to go from Strasburg? Well, first of all, let me pick out a valedictorian here, somebody that I have learned over 40 years that is never wrong. Smoochie, how long does it take to drive from Strasburg to St. John Arena? Okay, so she's close. It takes 2 hours, okay, from Tiger Town to St. John Arena. That day, on our way to play the state semifinal, because of the weather, 4.5 hours. Now think about this. You're undefeated. You're number one. Everybody in state wants to know, where are these hillbillies from Strasburg? 4.5 hours in a car. Now, if you've ever ridden with Charlie Huggins, Bobby, Charlie Huggins is not what you call a Parnelli Jones, okay? He's very slow, even on July 4th, let alone trying to get there in a blizzard. So we're on our way down, and on the way down, I, of course, am in Charlie's car. Guess where we end up? Charlie spins around on the road, and I believe it was just north of Mansfield. Of course, back in the day, we didn't have luxuries like Interstate 77. So we go off the road over by Mansfield. We're in this blizzard, and thank God some Tiger fans and some other helpful people stopped and pushed the Huggins car out of the snowdrift back onto the highway. Keep in mind now, we got to play a state semifinal. Has somebody got the hook out for me behind me? Should I just, how many of you want to hear the rest of this? Let's hear it. That's right, baby. That's right, baby. So let me tell you this. So we get to St. John Arena. So we get to St. John's Arena, and we run from our cars into the locker room. We throw on our clothes. As we get out onto the floor, we look at the clock overhead, and after 4.5 hours in a car in a blizzard, we have exactly 11 minutes now to have a little fun, you know, to stretch, to warm up. Now, if you've ever spent an hour in the car with Coach Huggins, you can imagine what 4.5 was, okay? We had to hustle 11 minutes before tip-off. Everybody's wondering, where are these hillbillies from Strasburg? But we got there, okay? Now, the game starts. They score the first point. This is Southeastern Ross in the state semifinal. Ross scores the first bucket. Gene Bear hits a nice little one off the glass to tie the score at 2-2. From then on, guys, can you guess how many times we were on top in that score? Never, ever. We were tied early in the ball game. We were never ahead in the ball game. Let's go to halftime. At halftime, we are down by 14 in the state semifinal. We are number one all year long, undefeated. We are down 14. Hold on to your tickets. Early in the second half, Ross scores the first basket. So according to historian Mike Rigger, that means that early in the second half now, we are down by 16 points, and we are number one. So what do? We fight, we claw, we listen to Coach Huggins, and what a master Coach Huggins was at making adjustments. What a master he was at getting rid of opposing teams' strengths. Okay, so we're down by 16. We put this thing on. He says, okay, guys, it's full press time. Now, keep in mind, if we have a winning margin of 36, how many times, and you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out, if you got a winning margin of 36, how many times are you going to use a full court press during the season? But you know what? We practiced it, and we practiced it every night. You know, and I know some of us would say, oh no, here we go again, full court press drill. Why are we doing this? We're having fun. We're blowing everybody out. But Coach Huggins knew exactly what to expect. So we apply the full court press. We battle back. Now with only 9 seconds, Digger. Where's Digger Keffer? There's Digger Keffer. Are you awake, Digger? Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. Hey, so with 9 seconds to play in the ball game, we are down by 1 now. We have fought our way back. We got to call timeout. 9 seconds on the clock. But guess what? This is going to be no easy task. We're down by 1, 9 seconds on the clock, and we got to bring it the length of the court. Wow, the Tiger fans are hanging by their fingernails. Can the Tigers pull it out? Can these guys deliver like undefeated number 1 teams are expected to do? So in the timeout now, of course, you know who the play is designed to go to. His name was John Studer. We called him Big John. So we got this play set up for Big John just off the low post to the right side of the lane. So we bring the ball inbounds, and guess what Southeastern Ross has done? They've double-teamed our big guy. They double-teamed Big John down low. So, let me remind you that the clock is running now. As the clock ticks down, our sophomore, our only starting sophomore, Ed Rusk. Eddie Rusk was his name. Eddie is open out front on the left wing. Eddie has a real nice, patented, soft jumper. Eddie was a left-hander. Okay, so the ball gets to Eddie up high about 22 feet away. Eddie Rusk with that left-handed, patented, real nice, real soft jumper, baby. The ball leaves his hand. The ball, ladies and gentlemen, is in the air when the final horn sounds. Game is over, baby. Game is over. And number 1 is behind by 1. Not so fast. Hold on to your tickets. The ball is still in the air. The ball is still in play. Wow. Do I have to tell you the end of the story? Eddie Rusk, our only junior, hits the game-winning shot, baby, at the buzzer, and we've got pandemonium in Bobby Huggins' favorite arena. We've got pandemonium in the Palestra, baby. The place is gone wild. Eddie Rusk has won the game for us. Eddie Rusk is our hero. Now, having said that, what a year it was for our Tigers. You're looking at the best team that ever played high school basketball in Tuscarawas County, if not the state of Ohio. So with that, guys, I want to thank you all for putting up with me. I want you to congratulate my buddies here. So with that, I'm going to ask these guys to stand up and take a bow, and I want everybody out there to put their hands together for the 1967 state champions. Let's hear it for them. All right, so as my guys go back to their seats, I want to thank everybody out there for tuning in to tonight's show. All right, and